Okay. So, Christy, when we were setting the agenda for today, you mentioned that you had some concerns.
Yes, I've kind of been all over the place lately. And I know I've said that before, but it feels like it's getting a little worse actually.
All over the place?
Yeah, I just can't get anything together. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Let's talk about what that looks like.
Well, whenever I'm with a client, I just freeze up.
So, what happens when you freeze up? Well, after you freeze up, of course.
Well, I was with a client the other day, and he looked at me and said, "Are you okay? You look like you're white as a ghost. What's going on?" And I was like, "That's a role reversal. He's not supposed to be noticing anything with me." I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I totally froze up. Like, all skills out the window.
So you said ghost. So you were scared?
Yeah, that's an understatement. I was petrified.
Okay. So let's talk about what that looked like. So take me back to the session. I'll be the client. Of course, you're the therapist.
Right.
So we're in the office. You have successfully engaged me, as you always do, being the wonderful therapist that you are.
Oh.
And what happens?
Well, he just sat down, we were engaging phase of the session, and he started talking about his PTSD, and that's when I froze. I really, literally, the whole fight or flight, I just totally kind of shut down.
Okay. And you said he checked on you and
He
so
did.
you had some concerns
And that was a little
about that.
disconcerting too. I was like, sorry, this is so unprofessional. I mean, I really did apologize. I was like, but really I didn't know what to do. I had to excuse myself for a while actually.
Okay. So PTSD. At least you were able to identify that being your trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, but like I've never had any PTSD issues before. And again, it's his issue, not me. So he was talking about his experience in the war. I have no idea why it happened.
Okay. So you mentioned a few things there. However, I want to go back to see like what else was coming to mind when you were working with them. Like just.
Okay.
So you said you
like
were
my automatic
scared.
thoughts? Is that what you like? What was going like in the moment I froze? What was I thinking?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that you were scared, so
Yeah.
I just want to. That is one emotion, but what thought came to mind when you were working?
Well, I started, I thought about his issue, like what he was talking about, and then automatically it transitioned to what that client of mine did, and the people that died, then his death, and then my incompetence, not catching what was going to go on, and then back to, I don't know how to do this, so I don't know what to do with this client.
Okay.
That's a lot I know. But you asked.
Well, I mean, once again, talk about how great a therapist you are. So I don't think that you're incompetent. It actually throws me off because that typically isn't Christy.
I know, but I guess I started to see a correlation between him and my other client because he was a sniper in the Army. Very, kind of in my head, the same thing that happened, the situation in the garage. And then it's kind of like, what if I can't catch this with him? What if he's down the same road? It just kind of all snowballed at once.
Okay, well, let's try and take a spin on things. How do you think you are with your other clients? The ones who don't have any military experience, the ones who, for most of all, don't have any PTSD. How do you think you work with them?
I think it's fine. They don't have nothing. I've never had this experience happen before, but there's no anxiety. There's no fear of I don't know what I'm doing with them. It's specifically this one client.
Okay, so you have a great handle on it.
Mm-hmm. I think so, yeah.
And that's the Christy that I
Yeah,
know.
thanks. I need to hear that sometimes, I guess. The self-doubt gets in the way a lot of the time.
Well, don't let it get in the way because
Okay.
you're an amazing therapist. You do good work.
Thank you.
But also, I mean, we do just need to talk about it because you mentioned that you were scared and you feel incompetent. when working with someone with PTSD, and PTSD is very common.
I know.
So, I mean, you know, we've all taken the trauma-informed care training. About 60% of men have it, 50% of women. I'm sure that, you know, you've worked with other clients who may have had PTSD, but they haven't had the official diagnoses. So, seeing as though that it's all pretty, I guess inclusive would be the word, with some of your clients. What do you think the difference is, or how do you think that you can bridge your skills with those clients to the one who has the actual diagnosis of PTSD?
Well, now that we've talked about it, I know it's my trigger. I know going into meeting with him that I need to be prepared mentally, that it could upset me, and I need to know, and I think I can do the steps that I need to do to prepare for him, because I want to continue working with him. I don't want to discharge him or transfer him to somebody else's caseload. So I do think we can get some good work done. It's just I have to prepare myself for his sessions.
Well, I mean, you said you don't want to discharge him, you don't want to transfer him. Even though you have that fear, I mean, it's clearly noticeable that you're dedicated to this client, which is a good thing. And it says a lot about you and the great work that you do. It shows that you have a passion for this and you're vested in your clients, and those are the things that I like to hear. So let's go back to, you know, preparing yourself. We talked about some of the techniques that you can use at home in your last session. However, these are out of session. So let's talk about some things that you would be comfortable with doing while you're in session.
Well, I can prepare by, you know, possibly meditating before I know he's going to come in, and just kind of, like I said, get myself mentally prepared. And I think I'd be a little transparent with him too, and say, hey, we're kind of both dealing with this right now, because I'll explain to him, because I need to explain to him what happened, why I excused myself from the session. So I think I'm going to explain a little bit about what happened, and I think that might even build our rapport a little bit more. And so, and I just need to, you know, do the relaxation techniques that I know and that I, you know, help my other clients use. And if I need to use them in the session, we can both use them in the session at the same time. If he's feeling anxious and I'm feeling anxious, hey, let's go for it, you know.
Okay, and let's take a quick sidebar. What would explaining yourself to him look like?
Well, I would just, you know, I'm going to probably do it in the very first part of the session, say, you know, I kind of want to talk to you about why I felt I needed to leave last session. And, you know, I kind of just told him, I wrapped it up really quickly and just kind of said, we'll see you next time, which isn't the best probably way to handle it, but I felt I needed to get out of that situation. I'm just going to explain and say, I get it a little bit now. I was like, you know, I've had a traumatic experience myself, and some of the things you were talking about affected me personally too. And I'm going to keep it in check from here on out, but I just wanted to explain. I said it was a surprise. I'm going to explain it was a surprise to me also.
Okay, well, that's good. That's very good. So moving back to in session, you deep breathing, things of that nature. What are some other things that you could do?
Well, just the other, like the muscle tension and, you know, flex and release your muscles. That always works for me, because I know when I'm getting super worked up, I just kind of take it systematically throughout your body, just relax. And that's one of the, I've heard good reports from my past clients that, so I'll just say, hey, let's do this.
Or you can do the roll nostril.
Or we could breathe, deep breathing. Yes. I'm not quite the pro at it though. It might look a little awkward with them in the session though.
Right. So may I make some other suggestions?
Sure.
Okay. So in doing some research, I've discovered this online organization. It's called My PTSD.
Okay.
And so, of course, it's a bunch of people who suffer from PTSD, most of them with a military background. And so with that, they know the negative connotations that people typically have whenever it's someone who has PTSD. They automatically think that they're going to be aggressive or do something dangerous or harmful to everyone. So they've tried to refute or lessen the stigma by, you know, choosing to make different acronyms. So I want you to go on and look at the website.
I will. You'll see, I might use it with him too.
You'll see loads of, you know, different acronyms. Most of them are pretty amusing, and it's my assumption that most of them do it so they can have some type of amusement during the session. Well, whenever they say it.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds, yeah, I'm definitely gonna look at it.
Okay, does it sound like something you're willing to do?
Sure. Sure.
Well, and the reason why I asked is because I mean, of course, you don't seem very enthusiastic about it. And
Well,
this
I'm not
is
sure
some-
exactly what you want me to do it right now? Like,
well, this is something that we have to come up with together.
oh,
so,
okay.
I mean,
I'm a little slow sometimes. Okay, let's think. PTSD in regards to this client. Well, he's first thing after I get there. I'm usually hungry. I usually always forget breakfast. So what about past the sugar donuts? What? I'm serious. I'm just kidding.
I'm actually pretty hungry, and you're my first therapist today. So I can see that. I actually think I might have sugar donuts during our next session.
Hey, that sounds good.
So
Maybe I'll put some in the back of, I'll share with him too. And so we can, that's how I can introduce it to him. That's a good idea.
yeah, that actually sounds like a really good idea. Once again, just affirming as to why you're a great therapist. Feeding them
You're
and
making my head get big.
well, that's what I'm here for.
All right.
So, in that, is there anything else that you wanted to discuss?
Not really. I really am doing pretty, actually. I know I sounded kind of negative the whole time, but I really am actually doing pretty okay. It just really, this startled me. Like, I mean, the years I've been doing this has never happened before. And so it really kind of threw me for a loop. So talking it out has helped. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, just to summarize, we've talked about, the emotions, the fear that you have, and the automatic thoughts of incompetence whenever you heard the phrase PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
However, we know that will no longer be a factor because you'll be
I have passed
passing the sugar donuts.
That's right.
Yes, you will. So, in that's also your homework assignment for the next supervisory session. Just to go ahead, try that out with your client.
Okay.
See how that works. See if you get any amusement from it, or I
Right.
mean, if PTSD doesn't give you as much fear or anxiety.
I really do think it'll help because, I mean, how can you not laugh at that? And when you're laughing, really, are you going to be that anxious? I think. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. Well, I look forward to hearing how it turns out.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.